Yesterday, I went to go see the brand new Megan 2.0. And while this wasn't one of my most anticipated movies of 2025, it was definitely something that caused a lot of intrigue for me, especially. Look, let's talk about the first movie just for a second. When it comes to the first movie, Megan, that was a movie that I decided to kind of wait to come to streaming and checked it out at home. And in all honesty, I was actually pleasantly surprised with that movie and how much fun I actually had with it. Now, the doll idea has been seen time and time again, but with Megan, this was really one of the first times where we got a moving around active doll other than Chucky, and not just some creepy doll that only ends up moving off camera and when you're facing the other direction. So when it came to that first movie, I actually ended up really liking it. Dare I say, love it. Even with my enjoyment of that first movie, I kind of felt like the horror part of that movie was a little bit out of place. Not to say that it was bad the way that they introduced some of those elements, but you could tell that the overall tone was a bit more comedic and silly than it was scary. So when we finally got the announcement for the second one and marketing kind of kicked up a little bit and it was advertised to be more of this comedic action type of movie, it had me hooked because that to me just made sense. I knew we were going to get Megan is the good guy, right? But with them wanting to lean into this more comedy action, I felt that it was a good choice and I was very excited to see how it would be executed. And I think they found their flow. Let's talk about that a little bit, the horror element of this movie. I would say that they are definitely still there. There are moments in this movie where some kills are a bit brutal. There's a lot of implications. They don't completely abandon the horror element of this franchise. The stuff that they do, that kind of, the stuff that they end up doing kind of works decently within the realm of this movie. There is a bit of suspenseful music. There's some creepy movements going on with these AI robots. As I said, there are brutal deaths and sometimes the implication is a little bit darker than what you see, but it is a PG-13 movie, so it's not really scary, not horrific by any means. But it was nice to see that they didn't really lose all of the horror vibes in there. The comedy in this movie was actually done really well. A lot of that goes to Megan, obviously. She's very witty, very sarcastic, and her insults are absolutely hilarious and wild as hell and out of left field and caught me completely off guard with some of them. But with her attitude in this movie, the way that she talks to the aunt, Gemma, is just hilarious to me. The way that she throws out these insults, even the way that she uses her facial movement, even though it's not really there. The delivery in some of these jokes and some of these sarcastic comments that she made just completely had me rolling in the theater. Now, the action in the movie, ooh, this is a action heavy film and I really enjoyed that because the choreography that they went with and that they put together for this movie worked so well and it was so fun and engaging to watch. The camera shots as we followed these fight sequences are done really well in these moments and really capture the crazy martial art type of movement that these people are displaying when they're fighting or when the robots were fighting each other. Man, the bot on bot action, very cool. I'm not gonna say that it's the greatest that I've ever seen in my entire life, but definitely holds up, does a good job. A lot of the highlights of the movie, I think, are kind of the fighting choreography that's going on, whether it's Megan beating up AI or Megan's whooping on an entire task force. She just lays belt to ass all day. Another pleasant surprise regarding this film is the suspense of the movie. I thought that that was very well done. There were multiple moments within the film where I was unsure of Megan's intentions and kind of went back and forth whether I thought she was really the good guy, like had been marketed, or if, you know, maybe she had some ulterior motives and really remained to be that evil robot that we knew from the first movie. And as I said, even though it was marketed to show Megan as being this good guy and now she's on the good side trying to protect everybody, but by the end of it, I don't know, man, there was a few moments where I was really unsure of her loyalties. And maybe the marketing was just to subvert expectations and kind of catch us all off guard. But it felt really good to not know everything. There weren't really a lot of leaks and rumors that came out about the movie, and even if there were, I really didn't follow a lot of those ones. So it was really nice to kind of go into it blind. And even aside from Megan herself, there are a couple twists within this story and in this plot that kind of threw me for a loop, or stuff that I didn't even catch on to until like the very last minute. And that made it for a really good time. I was really trying to figure out what the hell was going on because they throw a lot at you. The character performances also in this movie, I thought worked very well. They were very organic. A lot of the chemistry between this cast just felt natural and it was really good and really believable. As I said kind of before, Megan is really the standout of this film. And I don't think that that would come as a shock or surprise to anybody. I mean, the movie is titled Megan, but just how funny, but also how creepy she can be, whether that be the way way she's kind of sinister and the way she delivers dialogue, or just the way that she moves is just really creepy. But also, as I mentioned before, how funny she is with some of her witty insults that she just throws around to everybody. Gemma and her niece Katie, kind of our main characters, really was also done really well. And there's kind of a, subplot, B plot with them of kind of learning how to deal with what happened in that first movie, but also learning to trust each other and not to hide things from each other, which was done decently. It's not my favorite plot of the movie. I think that a lot of the heartwarming moments, or the moments that were supposed to be kind of heartwarming, don't really land so much as that, but it was not so terrible as to make me roll my eyes about it. It's a very natural situation with Katie still being young and her aunt who is watching over her wanting to protect her. It makes sense within the context of what's going on, but honestly, it just was not as interesting as the main plot of them trying to figure out this new AI and this new bot and try to take that out, which kind of brings me to that point. And Amelia, our new AI bot that is pretty much the villain and antagonist for this film. Amelia was so cool, dude. She was dope. Ivana Sako. Ooh, I hope I didn't mess that name up, even though I know I did. But she is so dope. She's so intriguing with her performances. I absolutely loved her as Shin Hati in the Ahsoka series. She was absolutely amazing in that. And here in Megan 2.0, she continues and kind of gives a very chilling performance and is menacing as hell. She delivers her dialogue in such a unsettling and sinister way, but the intentions and the motivations that she has for kind of doing everything that she's doing is very obvious, but it does a lot to kind of humanize her and make her at least semi-relatable. But even aside from that, she was just also just badass, dude. There are a couple moments where she looked like Lady Drago, like Rocky IV type badass. And when she gets down and fighting against Megan, that was probably the dopest fight scene. Honestly, aside from Megan, she actually might be the biggest standout for me. The way that she just tries to blend in, and then when she really lets loose, she lets loose. And it was crazy to see. And aside from them, the supporting cast that we have honestly does a really good job too. Not too much lines and too much to really say is a standout, but everybody meshed well. A lot of familiar faces from the first movie. Their friend Cole was pretty freaking hilarious too. That guy was just, with his facial expressions and reactions to the things that Megan does, was just hilarious and had me rolling in the theater. He played the comedic role really well.
Hey, so remember the time I strangled you and set the lab on fire? That won't happen again.
Thank you so much.
And lastly, I think all I could really talk about for the film is really the story of it, which honestly I found a bit interesting. Not anything brand new and nothing that we haven't seen, but this overall tone and commentary of the dangers of AI, I think was ultimately done well, and it was effective. The movie kind of leans into this idea of realizing that the evolution of technology and AI is going to happen. There's really nothing that we can do about it, and it is inevitable. And instead of trying to preach that maybe we shouldn't use it, instead it's looked at more of us needing to be careful with how we use it and how we manage it, and learn to kind of live in harmony with it. Now, I'm not gonna lie, that might be a little bit too philosophical for real life, but also, does anyone think that that's not where our future is going? Because I definitely think with the way that things are going, something like iRobot is definitely going to happen in our future. So maybe this whole idea and commentary that they were trying to do is a bit ahead of the curve, but nonetheless, it was tackled well. I will say too, as far as kind of negatives go, the biggest one for me about this film, and it might have just been me, I don't know, but the audio felt a little bit off, more so with sound effects, hit effects, a lot in action and fight sequences. The music felt just a little muffled. Same thing with a lot of the sound effects that they use for making contact, like hitting. When people got hit or people got shot, it just didn't really give this satisfying feel. If it sounded a little bit more muffled, and it kind of took me out of how important a moment can be, especially when the music is really low or really muffled. And it just, I don't know, music is usually used to kind of swell up the moment and make you really into it. And I kind of lost that in a few moments here in this movie, but I am just kind of wondering if maybe that was my theater and they need to go and change their speakers or something. But it left a few moments feeling a bit underwhelming for me. But overall, I think that this second installment fits well in line with the first movie. It actually might be my favorite out of the two. And I do really like that they decided to stray away from this horror tone that they were originally going for. Not because I don't like horror, I love horror. But even in that first one, it was really easy to feel the horror a bit out of place. Like there was more to laugh at than there was to be scared of. So with them making that switch in the second movie and really committing to it, I think did the movie justice. And it really worked well with this kind of comedic spy action movie. I definitely think that this is worth checking out in theaters if you are already interested interested, or if you did like that first movie, especially if you like that first movie. I do really wonder how the box office is going to do with this one though, because my theater was kind of dead. I mean, the top 3 rows were pretty decently packed, but that was pretty much it. But nonetheless, I think that these are just some guilty pleasure movies that I really enjoy and I have a good time watching. But when it comes to Megan 2.0, that is really all I got for you guys, man. I appreciate you. If you stayed until the end of this video, hit that like button so we can get this video out to more people. I really appreciate that. Also, consider subscribing to the channel. That way you don't miss future content that gets dropped on the channel. And I mean, it's damn near Sunday. So if you did check out the movie over the weekend, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments below. And if you think that there's going to be a third one, because they left the door open. But that is all the time that we got, man. Y'all know how this goes. I'm out. Y'all be smooth and stay geeked up.